I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist and start diving into whether he did or did not actually know. I think one of the more important things I think that really people really need to focus on is just the whole process and just the transparency of the whole ordeal, man. Because I mean, we don't even know, like we don't like so whenever these guys test positive, they don't even have to say whether or not what they took, how much they took. If so, it's not really you don't you have to take them at their word whether they knew what they were putting in their bodies or not. So I would just feel like the NFL needs to look into you know was he taking a low grade beaver tranquilizer or was he taking Adderall? Like what is the difference? Like, I don't understand what D Hop was doing there. I have a hard time believing he didn't know what was put into his body. Those guys, I mean, he's an NFL player. That's what he does for a living. His body is his temple. So, but I guess you gotta take him at his word. He's gonna serve his 6 game suspension. He just pulled his appeal. So, uh, I mean, it kind of is what it is, right? I mean, he's saying that he did it. So,
Does the Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown being traded to Arizona, does that help a lot? Will it help, or are they still going to really miss his presence with the start of the season?
they're two different players. So I think Hollywood, it definitely helps. It doesn't hurt. He brings a different element to the game. They're going to be a really fast offense with Rondell Moore, but Hopkins, he does something totally different, right? He's a contested ball catcher. He's a deep field threat himself. So they're going to miss his presence. Maybe his locker room presence more than anything. He's kind of grown into a leader into that type of role. So and he'll be healthy for playoffs, though, right? So maybe he won't need the deer tranquilizer there. So
Absolutely. Sean, your thoughts on D-Hop. Is it harmless? Does he not know? Or is it you believe the shock thing? Or like Blake said, you should know what's in your body.
I mean, yeah, I think with a lot of these NFL players, man. I mean, they put the stuff in their bodies every day. Trying to recover as well. And I don't think, again, when you see performance enhancing, it's like, you're D Hop, you're like one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL. Like, why would you? I don't think it was intentional. Like, oh, he's trying to take, performance enhancing to, just trying to better himself on the field as far as like his confidence waver or anything like that. And I feel like recently in time, we haven't really heard the term steroids. It's more even though they might be really similar. Like I don't view D Hop as far as quote unquote cheating. I think it's as well. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it was J.J. Watt a couple years ago or somebody else that was a big name. Oh, it was Thomas Davis. I know he retired a couple years ago, but Thomas Davis was also an All-Pro former linebacker for the Chargers and also the Carolina Panthers and a captain on the team. Walter Payton Man of the Year. He got caught for PED. So it was like, but again, I think sometimes when players get caught with this, sometimes I believe it's trying to hurry up the healing process. So again, I don't think it was D-Hop trying to necessarily, get an advantage on the field because he's already one of the best. We've seen what he's done. He's a Hall of Famer to me already. So I think it was, somewhat of an accident. And again, I know a lot of these players, they put stuff in their body every day. And again, sometimes things might come up. It might be illegal and, it's already in my system. I didn't necessarily know, you know what I mean? So I don't look at D-Hop saying that he tried to get away with get advantage on the field or try to cheat. I think I'll take him at his word as a mistake because we haven't heard this before, and he's also already an elite talent. So, this like my guy said, I don't think he was, I'll take him at his word. I don't think he was trying to cheat.
To me, and Sean, let me ask you this. The perception of fans, right? Are fans going to look at this and be like, you're a cheater, even if we don't have all the facts? Is that how we're going to look at things? Or is it going to be more like, okay, it's not a big deal? Because it does seem like in the NFL, if this happened in MLB, it's a whole thing. But it seems like in the NFL, it's not really a big deal to be caught with PEDs.
I mean, again, I feel like it depends on the player. This is the first time I believe this happened to D-Hop. And I think with everything that's going around with social media now, by the time of the start of the season, maybe, okay, we'll remember because he won't be there playing for the first 6 games. But I feel like once he's there, once he starts balling again, looking like usual D-Hop, that's one thing. And he's been elite. So I don't think the fans, you're always going to have, the people who judge anything, but I don't think the fans would take it that serious and start calling him a cheater because we've already seen what he did in the past. You know what I mean? And I mean, we know his resume, we know his work. So I don't think the fans, I don't think majority of the fans will call him a cheater and be like, it should be an asterisk on his whole career. So I don't think so.
What about the
I want
teammates?
to.
What about his teammates? You think they're disappointed in him? I mean, it is 6 games. Was it weak him saying confused and shocked? To me, if I'm his teammate, I'm pissed off because this is one of the guys he's hard to guard. He's one of the best receivers in football. He's not going to be there, and it's a competitive division, right? You got the
I'll say this
Rams.
yeah. I'll say this real quick.
49ers.
True. Seattle as well. Yeah. I feel like that, but again, his teammates should understand as well because they're also players. They put things in their bodies as well, and just like you said as well, he's one of the. I'm sure he's one of the leaders in the locker room as well. So I think if anyone, they'll probably have more of an understanding, and maybe it was a mistake. I don't look at D Hop as a aloof for a guy who can't get along with his teammates. If he wasn't perceived or one of the captains on the team, which I believe he is, then maybe it's like, okay, yeah, we should definitely be pissed at you. But I think it was a honest mistake. It's 17 games in the season, so a quarter and some change. He'd still be there for the 11 remaining games. But they definitely need D Hop though, because I mean we seen what the team was like last year, especially Kyler down the stretch when D Hop wasn't on the field.
Blake, before we move on to the Cowboys, of course we have to talk about the Cowboys. How in your opinion is his teammates should react to this? How are they viewing him right now in the locker room? If you were one of his teammates, how would you react to this?
Well, Sean mentioned that they have more of an understanding. So I honestly feel like that kind of works the opposite way. I feel like they're like, dude, I have the same list as you, and I didn't get pop out on the test. So it's like, okay, so I mean, I don't understand. Like it was like, okay, what were you really taking, and how did you get caught? And then I would also, ask DeAndre Hopkins, hey, you say you don't know how this happened. There's a list of what you can actually take. There's a whole list of stuff that is acceptable. I would ask him, did you take anything that wasn't on the list? I mean, just point blank period. If you did, that's probably where the mistake kind of lies there. So, I mean, he didn't do. I think it's a little BS if he says I don't know how it happened. This is totally off my radar. I think it's kind of BS because at the end of the day, if you don't stray off that list, then there's no way you can pop out on the test.